southern Lebanon and left more than 60 people dead, half of them children. Sharon Alfonsi was along the border of Israel and Lebanon today, and she reports tonight from Tel Aviv. Good evening, Sharon.
Good evening, Bob. Well, Israel's cabinet just approved a measure to expand its military operation. They are hoping that by Thursday they have destroyed all the Hezbollah positions in southern Lebanon. For a moment, there was hope. Hope that images of yesterday's attack could push both sides closer to a ceasefire. But early this morning, a Hezbollah rocket struck this Israeli tank, destroying it and any hopes of peace. Israel had promised a pause in its air campaign for 48 hours. This morning, U.S. Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice sounded optimistic, saying a peace deal could be imminent.
As I head back to Washington, I take with me an emerging consensus on what is necessary for both an urgent ceasefire and a lasting settlement. I am convinced we can achieve both this week.
If the conflict is closer to an end, there are few signs of it here on the front line. Even tonight, we're seeing more tanks brought in, more troops being pushed further to the Lebanon border. Israeli military officials say the ground offensive is intensifying. Today, Israeli soldiers and Hezbollah guerrillas were engaged in fierce fights inside Lebanon. So despite their promise of a pause, Israeli commanders who had left open the option to call in air power if ground troops were in peril did, launching 2 airstrikes over Lebanon. This one killed a Lebanese soldier near the port city of Tyre. Israeli officials apologized, saying they thought it was carrying a senior Hezbollah official. Despite American pleas and outrage from the international community after the Qana attack, Israel is clearly not changing its course. If anyone needed any more proof of that today, Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Olmert delivered it, saying today there would be no ceasefire. And the Prime Minister said the fighting will continue until Israelis' kidnapped soldiers are free and the people of Israel are free from rocket attacks. Bob?
Well, certainly the government is being very resolute, Sharon. What sense do you get about the people? Are they still supporting the government in this very hardline position that the government is taking?
I think they are. There is, of course, outrage about the attacks that happened yesterday. However, the outrage is definitely directed at Hezbollah. They believed that they were using those people as human shields.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Sharon. As brief as it was, the bombing pause did allow thousands of civilians who have been trapped for more than 3 weeks now in southern Lebanon to begin moving north and away from the fighting. And rescue workers did get into that village of Qana where the attack took place yesterday that cost the lives of so many civilians and children. Lee Cowan got in there this morning.
It is impossible to escape the images. Screaming mothers, tiny body bags. A scene so horrific yesterday is symbolic today. Qana has become a rallying cry, one that's done more for Hezbollah's cause than anything else since the war began. The Lebanese people were split, this man told us, but after the Israeli massacre in Qana, we're all behind Hezbollah now. The militant group isn't shy about exploiting the tragedy either. Everywhere we look today, the faces of dead and dying children stared back. Here in the Hezbollah suburbs of Beirut, bombed day after day, certainly the tipping point came a long time ago. But the images of that attack in Qana have produced a measure of anger that have now spread far beyond just this neighborhood. Right across the Middle East, Arab nations that were once skeptical or even openly critical of Hezbollah now treat it as an ally. It's not surprising to see demonstrators in Tehran respond to Qana by attacking the UN offices and burning Israeli flags. After all, Iran has long been Hezbollah's patron and cheerleader. But many were taken aback when Egypt's Hosni Mubarak, who shied away from commenting on the conflict, today lashed out at Israel, warning that one more misstep and the entire Middle East peace process could collapse. Qana is resonating in Iraq as well, with protesters carrying coffins symbolizing dead Lebanese children. Even Sunnis and Shiites, who usually can't agree on anything, are now finding common ground in support for Hezbollah. Shiite cleric Muqtada al-Sadr is only the latest to join the chorus calling for an immediate ceasefire. Haifa Milhem, who we found retrieving what's left of her life in Beirut, says it's hard to imagine Hezbollah as the enemy. We're all with them, she says. But for families like hers, Hezbollah may not symbolize Lebanon, but for now, it's as close to a flag bearer as she can find. Lee Cowan, CBS News, Beirut.
Secretary of State Rice got back to Washington tonight, so we're going now to our White House correspondent, Jim Axelrod. And Jim, to say the least, the message she thought she'd be bringing to the president tonight is certainly not the one she is delivering.
That's right, Bob. Khanna has changed everything. Secretary Rice is now here at the White House, and she came directly from her plane to brief the president with new urgency about crafting a ceasefire proposal.
If Khanna has pushed Arab and European allies further away from President Bush, it hasn't much changed his rhetoric.
Look, it's a terrible situation when innocent people lose their lives, and yesterday's situation was awful. We understand that, but it's also awful that 1 million Israelis are worried about rockets being fired from their neighbor to the north.
The president explained on Fox News Channel's Your World with Neil Cavuto why the tragedy alone wouldn't lead to a ceasefire.
See, stopping for the sake of stopping, you know, could be okay, except it won't address the root causes of the problem. And the root cause of the problem is armed militias firing rockets from a sovereign nation into another sovereign nation.
But behind Mr. Bush's unyielding hard line, Israel's window to pound Lebanon does seem to be closing. Secretary Rice now says she wants the fighting to stop this week. And in Miami today, even the tough-talking president started spelling out his conditions for a ceasefire.
Lebanon's democratic government must be empowered to exercise sole authority over its territory. A multinational force must be dispatched to Lebanon quickly.
His position is not just isolating the president overseas. It's starting to cause trouble at home with members of his own party.
President Bush must call for an immediate ceasefire. This madness must stop. The Middle East today is more combustible and complex than it has ever been.
For the first time today, the president himself addressed this idea of any U.S. involvement in the multinational peacekeeping force. No U.S. troops, he said. Bob?
All right, well, thank you, Jim. Across the country today, most of it anyway, the big headline was simple: it is hot. Not just, hey, it's July and it's hot. It's been hotter, longer, in more places this month than anyone can remember. And the experts are saying we'd better get used to it. Here's Bob Orr.
From Milwaukee to Massachusetts and Chicago to the nation's capital, the stifling heat wave is not just
Equatorial hot.
it's historic.
It's enormous, and it's just not normal. It probably has not happened before, it's certainly since we've been keeping data.
Climatologist Jay Gullidge says the unmatched misery began almost 2 weeks ago. On July 20th, every contiguous state except North Dakota topped 90 degrees. Then all-time records fell as temperatures hit 119 outside of Los Angeles and 113 in central California. Now triple-digit temperatures are still choking the Midwest, and they're forecast to close in on the East Coast tomorrow.
It feels like 104 in Frederick.
So what's going on?
Things are getting hotter, and climate scientists definitely say that the average global temperature is getting hotter because of global warming.
Gullidge says there's no longer any serious debate. Glaciers are melting, the oceans are warming, and it seems relentless rains alternate with droughts on an increasingly regular basis. Taken together, it all adds up to global warming. And here's a twist. Scientists say the warming may have come sooner had it not been for pollution. Before clean air rules, coal-burning factories and cars using leaded gasoline produced dense blankets of smog that actually repelled some of the sun's harmful rays.
When we had all that pollution in the 60s and the 70s, it actually shielded us from some of the effects of global warming?
It shielded us from some of the sunlight that was coming in, that's right. And that reduced the amount by which the Earth was warming at the time.
But now with global warming, forecasters say we can expect to have more of what we already have. Periods of intense heat and punishing storms. Bob Orr, CBS News, Washington.
There are financial storm clouds on the horizon, and the reason is the American savings rate is at a historic low. We're going to have that story in a moment.
Ask me.
Ask me.
If I don't bring it up, you bring it up.
Let's not wait until you've lost any more bone.
Let's not wait till you break a bone.
You're a busy woman.
Osteoporosis is serious business because it can get worse. But bone loss can be reversed. Fosamax Plus D treats postmenopausal osteoporosis. It actually helps reverse bone loss.
It helps prevent hip and spine fractures.
Plus, it's got vitamin D.
You shouldn't use Fosamax Plus D if you have certain disorders of the esophagus.
You have to be able to stand or sit upright for 30 minutes.
If you have severe kidney disease or low blood calcium, you shouldn't take Fosamax Plus D. It's not for vitamin D deficiency. Tell me about your stomach and digestive problems and your medications. Vitamins and supplements, too.
Stop taking Fosamax Plus D and call me right away if you get heartburn or it gets worse, or swallowing becomes difficult or painful, or if you have chest pain. These could be signs of serious upper digestive problems.
So call me. Make an appointment.
Give me a call. We'll talk about it.
Ask me. Ask me about Fosamax Plus D.
Bone loss can be reversed. Ask me.
Are you totally twisted? Dangerously straight? Want to inspire body envy? You will, with the 9 new herbal essences collections. Now, whatever look you crave, you can get. With fusions of luscious natural ingredients, these fabulous formulas give whatever type of hair you have a major superiority complex. The luscious new herbal essences collections. Choose yours. Be luscious.
Terracotta.
Stone. Bermuda.
York's new Affinity Series air conditioning systems are sleek, quiet, and efficient.
Jet black.
And they come in a choice of colors that are as distinctive as you are.
Champagne.
Because people like color. The new beautiful Affinity Series from York.
With all the skin creams out there, it takes an expert to choose. My expert choice? Total Effects.
Fight 7 signs of aging with the #1 beauty editor recommended anti-aging cream, Olay Total Effects.
I took a backpack, filled it with all the school supplies, and it came to about $20. All the schools should just put "Shop at Big Lots" at the top of the school supply list. That would be a good list.
Put this on your list. 5-shelf bookcase, just $24.88, only at Big Lots.
It's no secret that a lot of people in this country are having trouble making ends meet. In a CBS News New York Times poll out tonight, more than half who were questioned say they make just enough to meet expenses. 12% say their bills are greater than their income. So is it any wonder that at a time when saving for retirement is more critical than ever, we are saving less than at almost any time in our history? Here's Trish Regan.
Scary sea monsters are nice ones.
Anne DeVivo de Mesa loves being a stay-at-home mom until it's time to pay the bills.
It keeps going up and up and up. It's just very frustrating.
And expensive with 3 kids to raise. So this fall, Anne plans to return to a job that pays, even though she and her husband, Alex, both wish she could stay home.
It wouldn't be possible because I'm already pulling more out of savings. You don't even realize.
What few of us realize is how saving less and spending more is becoming a way of life. Our personal savings rate has been steadily falling, from almost 10% in the 1970s down to about 5% in the 90s. Since June of last year, our savings rate has been in the negative numbers, meaning simply that month after month, we keep spending more money than we take in. The last time we had a sustained negative savings rate was during the Great Depression. But the reasons for the savings crunch now are different, says economist David Weiss.
It's the rise in the value of the stocks, the rise in the value of your house. And those have been going up nicely enough that most people don't see why they have to save any more on top of that.
But stocks and home values can plunge. Remember the dot-com bust of 2000? Economists thought that downfall in the stock market would make people become better savers, but it didn't.
We always think that something will work out, that growth is going to be great, the stock market's always going to go up, and therefore, why worry?
But Weiss says we should be worried. We're not saving enough for retirement, and we're relying too heavily on credit. Still, Anne, like most Americans, is optimistic.
The money will be there. I really think so. Not in great quantities, but enough.
And so far, it's that sentiment, not savings, that Americans are banking on. As interest rates move higher, debt becomes more expensive, making it that much more difficult to save money.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Trish. Women may soon be able to get the so-called morning after pill without a prescription. In a surprise move today, the FDA said it wants to revive talks with the maker of the drug on how to allow adult women to buy it over the counter while keeping it prescription only for girls under 18. The morning after pill, also known as Plan B, can prevent pregnancy if taken within 72 hours of unprotected sex. Coming up next, why a political battle in Connecticut is getting so much attention all over the country.
If you use those over-the-counter drops several times a day, you may have chronic dry eye due to decreased tear production without knowing it, like me. And my doctor prescribed Restasis.
With continued use, Restasis helps increase your natural ability to produce tears, which may be reduced by inflammation due to chronic dry eye. It should not be used by patients with active eye infections and has not been studied in patients with a history of herpes viral infections of the eye. The most common side effect is a burning sensation.
More of my own tears. Thanks, Restasis.
My name is Sarah. I've had a sleep problem. Actually, different problems. Sometimes I couldn't fall asleep, or I'd fall asleep and I couldn't stay asleep. My doctor suggested that I try Ambien CR, the latest Ambien. It does both. Helps me fall asleep and stay asleep. It's the only one with 2 layers. One dissolves quickly to help you fall asleep fast. The other dissolves slowly to help you stay asleep. A good night's sleep makes a big difference.
Ambien CR is a treatment option you and your doctor can consider along with lifestyle changes and can be taken for as long as your doctor recommends. Until you know how Ambien CR will affect you, you shouldn't drive or operate machinery. Be sure you're able to devote 7 to 8 hours to sleep before being active again. Side effects may include next-day drowsiness, dizziness, and headache. It's non-narcotic. However, like most sleep medicines, it has some risk of dependency. Don't take it with alcohol.
Falling asleep and staying asleep. Both problems handled.
Ask your doctor about Ambien CR. Remember, that's CR for a good night's sleep from start to finish.
I think I went to the best.
Bernie, itching. I should have used Preparation H.
You should carry Preparation H portable wipes, convenient little packets, real big wipes, to cleanse, cool, and soothe for relief even when you're not at home. Preparation H portable wipes, big relief to go.
Are aches and pains keeping you up? Now there's a new PM that has you covered. Introducing Advil PM, the multi-pain relieving power of Advil plus a non-habit-forming sleep aid. New Advil PM. Stop hurting and start sleeping.
Sunset Heating and Cooling's reputation for customer service is more than just words. It's our foundation.
Since 1922, Sunset has been serving Portland families, and now we're serving the second and third generation of Sunset customers. A Carrier dealer since 1958, Sunset is Carrier's oldest Portland dealer.
I trust Sunset. After all, I've been a customer since 1976.
Sunset Heating and Cooling, a Carrier factory-authorized dealer where your 100% satisfaction is guaranteed.
The War on Terror. We'll take a hard look at our borders to see what's changed in the past 5 years. Tomorrow, see why more people are watching the CBS Evening News with Bob Schieffer.
If there is one thing to say about politics, it is that the conventional wisdom is usually wrong, which is about the only way to explain how our next story is a story. After all, who would have thought, even a year ago, that one of the most vulnerable senators facing re-election this year would be the once popular party favorite Joe Lieberman of Connecticut. Here's our national political correspondent, Gloria Borcher.
Three-term Democratic Senator Joe Lieberman was so popular with his party 6 years ago, he was nominated for vice president. Now he's in real danger of losing a Democratic primary to a political unknown. There's really only one reason. He supports the war in Iraq.
My opponent is peddling what I would have to call a big lie, that I'm not a real Democrat.
Despite the fact that Lieberman has voted with the party 90% of the time.
But this Senate race is about much more than political history. It's about a simple question. What do the Democrats stand for?
Ned Lamont, nice to see you.
Enter Ned Lamont, a rebel, Connecticut style. He may be a wealthy businessman in a blue button-down shirt, but make no mistake, Lamont is tapping into those mad-as-hell anti-war Democrats who've had enough of Lieberman.
Joe underestimates how vehemently we are opposed to this war. And I'm talking about the majority in Connecticut. He doesn't get it.
He does now. That's why Lieberman finally called in the Democratic Party's A-team. They've fine-tuned his I'm a Democrat message, put him on a bus tour across the state,
That's what this is about.
and brought in the big gun.
Joe Lieberman's a friend of mine. I love him. He's in a tough race.
Lamont Democrats make an issue of this hug with President Bush. They call it a kiss. It's now a campaign button. But Lieberman got the embrace he wanted. And Bill Clinton now stars in his latest campaign ad.
He's been a good Democrat. He's a good man.
What's not in the ad?
We don't agree on everything. We don't agree on Iraq.
Is part of this that Joe Lieberman has not only been against the war, but he's also criticized Democrats for being against the war?
I think too often Joe Lieberman was there criticizing those who are trying to ask the tough questions.
Lieberman says he'll run as an independent if he loses next Tuesday's primary. But if he does that, Democrats like Bill Clinton won't be with him. Gloria Borger, CBS News, Waterbury, Connecticut.
And coming up next, she has a real career, makes real money selling digital clothes to made-up people in a virtual world. We'll take you there next.
Really has changed quite.
My kids call me the finisher.
Finish up in there. Okay.
Finish your homework?
Yes.
Finish your vegetables. Something I thought I was finished with?
Managing my acid reflux disease. I thought it was just bad heartburn, but my doctor said over time, stomach acid was damaging the lining of my esophagus.
She prescribed Nexium. Said I needed more than heartburn relief. My esophagus needed repair. One prescription Nexium pill a day not only relieves my heartburn, it healed erosions in my esophagus. So I don't just feel better, I am better. And with the Purple Plus program, I get advice on nutrition, exercise, even ways to save on Nexium. My doctor did say headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain could be side effects of Nexium, and other serious stomach conditions may still exist.
Talk to your doctor about the healing Purple Pill.
I tell him you shouldn't do anything halfway. Let's finish up.
If you're without prescription coverage and can't afford your medication, AstraZeneca may be able to help.
When the Middle East erupted, CBS News was there.
As we were walking out of the shelter just now, we heard a rocket explode.
When attack followed attack,
Incoming Hezbollah rockets just landed moments ago.
the CBS News team took you into the hot zone. When you need to know, you need the CBS Evening News with Bob Schieffer.
When success is real, it shows. Introducing new Just for Men. Its new True Color formula targets only gray, easy as shampooing, for a natural look that is real. Real to the eye, real to the touch, real where it counts. New True Color Just for Men.
Some women travel great lengths to recover. I'd rather reactivate.
Olay Regenerist. Reactivates with twice the power.
So why recover when you can reactivate?
Love the skin you're in.
Real people are sharing their good news about Aleve.
Aleve makes it a whole lot easier to play.
I take Aleve in the morning. I am pain-free for the whole day.
If it wasn't for the Aleve, I wouldn't be able to work out as hard as I do.
Aleve made me feel so much better.
Share your good news at AleveGoodNews.com.
Sam finds brushing boring. My secret weapon? Ha-ha! Listerine Agent Cool Blue.
Cool.
It turns the plaque on Sam's teeth blue, because when he can see the plaque, he can brush more effectively. And because it's from Listerine, it kills bad breath germs, too. Better brushing means a cleaner mouth.
Sam, nice work.
And a happier mom. This case is closed.
New Listerine Agent Cool Blue for kids.
What's cool is how they'll love to brush.
Tomorrow, the rising cost of utility bills may have you hot under the collar, but our easy-to-follow tips can help you save money all year round on The Early Show.
Whether it is flying cars, robot butlers, science fiction usually stays fiction, but every once in a while a far-out idea actually happens. Well, a once fictional notion called virtual reality is now letting millions of real people spend real time and real money living imaginary lives. Jerry Boyne is our report.
When reality gets hard to take, there's an escape to a parallel universe, a virtual world without end, where real people create online personas called avatars.
She's got red hair, big, nice, cool glasses.
And anything is possible.
This is my deck overlooking the beach. See, I've got neighbors that have like a giant pirate ship.
Catherine Smith can't afford a beach house in real life, but in Second Life, the online game created by her employer, Linden Lab, she and nearly 100,000 other subscribers who pay $10 a month can have that and more.
You could go skydiving and not be afraid of dying. You could become a wild animal, something that you could never do in real life.
And as hard as this may be to believe, there's real money changing hands among the players in these games. An estimated $1 billion worldwide by users buying and selling virtual goods. Furniture for virtual houses, clothing for their avatars, paid for with real-world credit cards. At Second Life alone, $6 million a month.
I put in 40 hours a week, easy.
Shannon Gray supports herself in Medford, Oregon, making virtual clothes for avatars in that other world.
I couldn't believe that it was real, that you could even do that, and it blew my mind. It still blows my mind.
And she's not alone.
We have here a virtual loft of sorts that we created for the artist Regina Spektor.
Warner Brothers Records has set up shop to publicize the pop singer's music.
You know, our goal with Second Life is to make it better than real life in a lot of ways.
But there are real-life problems. Hackers have tried to shut it down.
Who did you call? We generally call the FBI.
And it doesn't stop there. Second Life itself is being sued in the real world over virtual land deals that went bad. And a man in China has been sentenced to life in prison for murdering a friend who sold a prize sword he'd loaned him. A virtual weapon that existed only in cyberspace. Meantime, the possibilities are seemingly endless, and that's what creators of Second Life and other sites expect will draw the generations that grew up on video games, the chance to create their own alternative identity in a virtual world. In fact, I can't resist. There's one job I've always wanted, and before Katie gets on board, I'm going for it. And the beauty is, Schieffer will never know.
This is the CBS Evening News with Jerry Bowen.
And that's the way it is in the virtual world. I'm Jerry Bowen, CBS News, San Francisco. Good night.
I want to become a wild animal myself. That's the news. I'm Bob Schieffer, CBS News in New York. We'll see you here tomorrow.
For news 24 hours a day, click on CBSNews.com. Brought to you in part by Walmart. Walmart and Sam's Club pharmacies accept all Medicare prescription drug plans. And at the Walmart price, you get a great value for your prescription dollars.
This is CBS.